Prepare yourself for his coming. Hands went down. Come on, put them back up. How many people are trying to prepare themselves for the coming of Christ? What are you doing that's Christ-like for that preparation? Or are we sitting back waiting and then going to try to make a deal with him? Try to explain ourselves to God. Well, let me tell you, God, I was really trying to get myself together. Christ is definitely coming. When you say how, Matthew 24 gives you the answer. Right? When you say how, Revelations, now, I'm explaining to you, when you read the Bible in Matthew, it tells you about the birth of Jesus as Emmanuel. Then when you get to the end of the book of prophetic writings, called the Apocrypha, called the book of Revelations, then we go to Revelations chapter 12, and we get another story. And it talks about a woman, and she's standing in a crescent. And she has 12 stars as crowns upon her head, which is symbolic of the 12 tribes. And she's pregnant and waiting to give birth. This is Revelation chapter 12. Read it, the whole chapter. And it says that the dragon, they call him the dragon, the serpent, that old devil, they give him Lucifer, they give all his names there. They say he's waiting for her to give birth so he can devour the child. You understand? But when our Lord and Savior was born, there was no dragon in the manger waiting to devour the child. There was no devil. There was 3 wise men that God sent to follow the star through the sky to tell Mary and Joseph to be aware of Herod and to go into Egypt and there wait until Herod passes, correct? So there's 2 stories taking place here. You understand? One of them was Jesus of 2,000 years ago. And the book of Revelations, the one of 2,000 years ago, is the one we've read about all our lives. The one in the book of Revelations is talking about like it says, called the Apocrypha, a book of prophecy, talking about the one that the Muslims call Isa el-Messiah, that the Hebrews call Yeshua HaMashiach, and what the Bible calls Jesus Christus, or Jesus the Christ. You follow? This one is yet to come. And they say that the woman will be impregnated and the devil is waiting for her to give birth so he can consume that divine child. This is in the book of Revelation, but not before they warned us in Psalms chapter 2. It said the heathens in them take counsel against the Lord and his anointed. And the word there, anointed, in Hebrew is Mashiach, the word Messiah. Psalms 2, remember it. It says they have taken counsel. They have gotten together and sat down and they're plotting against the birth of the Messiah. That didn't happen 2,000 years ago. Nobody was plotting against the birth of Jesus then. You hear me? But now we have a prophecy in the book of Revelation that speaks about a woman pregnant and a dragon, symbolically of Satan, that old devil waiting to kill the baby. You hear me? That's in the book. That's not Jesus 2,000 years ago. But every Muslim, every Christian, every Jew, and every Buddha believe in the coming of either Maitreya, El-Messiah, a-Mashiach, or Christos. And don't know that it's around the corner. And let me add something else. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. People are waiting for Christ to save them. Right? But where is the heavenly host that must be prepared on earth? Because Gabriel has prepared a host in heaven. But it tells you in Revelations that Michael prepares an earthly army. And that earthly army must be prepared to protect Christ when he comes into this world. Everybody's sitting around with their hands up, waiting to be saved. You know what I'm saying? Praying to be saved now. Save me, Jesus. But who is preparing to protect Christ from the Antichrist? Where is the earthly army? Where's those men and those women? And I'm going to tell you, those people who belong to that council who got together against Christ, they got the kind of money where they put out movies to educate theirs. That's what the whole Damien series was about. And they had another movie recently with Arnold Schwarzenegger. What was it? End of Days, where the two groups of Knights of Templar, one positive and one negative, was trying to, one, protect this woman. Her name happened to be what?
Mary.
Her name was York. What a coincidence. And her mother's name was Mary. What a coincidence. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was trying to protect her from the devil, and he found out later some of the police officers and some of the high officials were all on the devil's side, and his best friend had been won over by the devil. That's how tight it is. That's how dangerous it is. When you're talking to a person, because of the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 15, which we have been jumping over, you don't know whether you're talking to a devil. Because it says in there that every time the woman will give birth to a seed, the devil is going to give birth to a seed. And they're going to have a war where he tries to cling onto her heel. That means every step we take to life. When the hospital's being born, one human child and one devil child is being born. Both look like humans. Don't have nothing to do with no race. All you people that got a periodic complex. The devil ain't got no race. He's a force, like that sister said, a power that is in the world trying to prevent the return of Christ. You know why? Because Christ came to reprove or to remove what? 2,000 years ago he was here and they disrupted his job. And we're still in sin. Right? But he came in the world to remove the sin. So he didn't do his job. So in St. John, what did he say? It is better for you that I go. Because if I don't go, the Comforter cannot come. When he comes, he shall not speak of himself. Only that which he hears shall he speak, and he shall glorify my holy name. So another being was supposed to come after him. Not me. I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping. You're going to make me trip. That person's supposed to come to prepare the way. You follow that? And then we have to set up. In other words, we have to set up an army for Christ. That sounds crazy. That sounds cultish. That sounds, oh, they're going to be a military. That's not what I'm saying. It got nothing to do with the military. You got to do with people who realize that there's people calling themselves human beings, look like human beings, work with us every day, eat with us, serve us our food, hostess us on the planes, lead the prayer in the church, and they are devil's children. It says in Revelation, Michael and his host, and Satan and his host. But you know what it says in Revelation 12? Satan's host was cast out of heaven down to the earth, and there was found no place at all for them in heaven anymore. So where are they at? Here. That's right. And when they got to that same devil who was cast out in the beginning, right? Yet, in Job, when they get ready to go back to heaven before God, the devil is with them. He can't get back in heaven. So God asks him, right up in Job, ask the devil, where have you been? And the devil answered, walking up and down on the earth and to and fro. You want to see what that looks like? Huh? You want to see me walk up and down the earth and to and fro? Yes. Walking up and down the earth and to and fro. Walking up and down and to and fro. He's been spreading his religious philosophy, which we're thinking is Christianity, and it's Antichrist. Because it's not preparing us to save Christ, it's preparing us to want to be saved by Christ and doing nothing. But sitting down, that's why I asked earlier, who here is ready to be judged right now? None of us, honestly. Of course, you'll find one nut that says, I don't bless us. They always going to be there. But who's ready to be judged now if God was here right now? And who's here that if Christ is going to be... We found that this woman amongst us, if we found that she was impregnated by that holy child, what would we men do? Are we willing to stop and hold hands and put a barrier around her and women and say that until that baby's born, we're going to stand there, we're not going to eat, we're not going to sleep, we ain't going nowhere until that Christ child is born? Are we willing? Can we break away? No. You know why? Because they got a chain on our ankle saying I got to go to work, I got to do this, I don't have the time for that. And I'm leading into something. Why they don't like this organization? Because I'm teaching people how to be independent and control their own time. So they say, no, he tells people to stop going to school. That's not what I tell people. I want you in the schools. You know why I want you in the schools? Because I want you to be there to see where Satan's children are too. Because they're there. I'm going to show you a very simple way how Satan's children work. A loud noise bangs up there. Everybody stands up. Something starts to move. We get ready to run, and she falls. And 39 people fall over her and die. That was her job. That's her job. Her job is to get it at the end of the basketball game. Her job is to be the one to throw the first whatever onto the floor, which starts the riot that causes so many innocent people to lose their lives. That's their job. Now, we don't want to see that. If I told you Michael Jackson was one of the devil's children because of the time span he wasted in our life and involved us in his idiocy, regardless of I don't care about if he made himself purple or green. That's not the point. Think of how much time of our lives we were sitting around going Billie Jean with him. How his job was barely to steal a portion of time. And he became my idol, let's say. Just for that period of time, I no longer worship God. I was, in a subtle way, worshiping. That's why the word idol and idol is so close. Phonetically, they can be tricky. One is idolatry, right? An idol worshiper. And the other is a person like Michael Jordan. If anybody ever played basketball, he became mine. If I was a golfer, Tiger Woods would be mine. But I won't say I'm worshiping him. Though I'll be at every one of his games, which would be his church service. And I'll be cheering him on, which would be I'll be one of his choir singers. And every time he gets that basket, I go, yes! I got the Holy Ghost. Your father has pictures of him on my wall. Right? I'll follow him. They say, it's going to be in Louisiana. Get a whole bunch of guys, some beer, some cars. Tell our wives, we don't care what y'all think. We're going to the game. We'll deal with it when we get back. That's a religion. That's how subtle and that's how busy the devil is now. Because all the signs of the coming of Christ are right in front of us. All the signs, pestilence, diseases, earthquake. While we're talking right now in Peru, there's an earthquake. I know Houston, Texas didn't realize that God was mad at them for killing that boy. But the day he died, the following day, Houston was hit with the biggest flood it ever had. Now, why all of a sudden? Because if this was biblical time, and a town was isolated, and they killed a man who said, I did not kill anybody. I'm taking revenge for what y'all did to them kids in David Kuwait's town. Because like I said, we don't know what David Kuwait really did to warrant that kind of murder. Having some guns in your house in Texas, everybody has guns in Texas. If you want to find out what the bad guys are, go get them militia. They got tanks. There's some people with some guns out here. But David Kuwait, he had a God complex, you see. They knew if they told us that he thought he was Jesus, that would get our attention. And we don't like that. And that made it okay to kill him. But what about all the kids that died? How do they justify the kids? Oh, it was an accident. There's no such thing as an accident with the sophistication that we live in right now where they can listen through a brick wall. It didn't have to go that way. So this man says, I retaliated on the same day that you did that, and I blew up one of your buildings with your children in it. Isn't that hate breeds? You taught it. Isn't that what's called an eye for an eye and tooth? Isn't that what goes into all the stuff you teach us? And now they put that man to death. And then Houston, Texas, gets flooded out and thousands of people die. All of a sudden, they don't see that maybe the spirit of I can't remember the good name. That's McVeigh. You know what bothers me the most? That people wanted to tell about us. That's how we knew the world was in a bad state. When people, if someone killed my children, if I was sick enough to want them dead, I wouldn't be sick enough to want to watch it. Because I'd be as sick as a serial killer. Only a serial killer takes pride in watching someone die. That's what they teach. They teach serial killers are people who take pride in watching people die. Is that what they teach? So we're in a time where nation is against nation. Kingdoms are against kingdoms. There's pestilence. Houston got hit by millions of mosquitoes. So check the news, don't believe me, check it out. Not only did they have a flood, but now after the flood, there's millions of mosquitoes and they're petrified that there's going to be a virus. Why isn't it God all of a sudden? Why isn't that a curse from God? It was Egypt that called it plagues. We live in that day and time now where all the signs are laid out for us. The writing, as it says on the wall, is the time of return of the Messiah. You know what's going to be so sad? Your best friend could be available. Your girlfriend, your sister, your boss, turn on you just like that. When you start saying, you know what? And you think you got confidence in them. There's a friend of mine that goes back a long way here. So I say to him, you know what? I'm thinking he feels the way I feel about it. I'm like, really? How do you know that? You know, can't you see the signs? Explain it to me. When do you think he's going to come at? Why hasn't he revealed his truth? Why hasn't he revealed his truth? And my best friend, I'm not trying to turn friends against friends. I'm telling you, Judas was Jesus' friend. He was breaking bread with him, hanging out with him. All the while inside, he was planning on setting him up. And what makes you think that your lover or your best friend ain't doing the same thing? Hanging with you for the same reason. Because, like I said earlier, the signs say it's time. Everything points to this hour. A lot of people don't know that the original shriners were created for the sole purpose of protecting Christ when he comes. And to move his family, move them all the way out of Jerusalem when the people sought to kill them. Why there was no crucifixion. But yet, no man can take part. Are you with me? So there is no army of Christ. There's no one prepared. We're sitting here waiting for the child to be born. The Bible gives us a full description of where at, what to expect. But what are we doing? Are we preparing? Huh? You saw those guys on the road in red marching? You said, that's kind of cute. That's nice little costume. Beneath the costume, there's a brotherhood forming to say we all accept that Christ is near and that we are willing to hold hands and put a circle around that woman with her. And regardless of what it takes to protect him so he can get out. How we refer to as a smooth transition into this world to remove sin. And you watch people you love disappear. But they are the ones who introduce you to the sin. The friend who comes to your room and says, I got some marijuana, we go to the party. You had no intention of smoking marijuana. I went down there and got some marijuana. We're going to have some fun and get high tonight. I said, no, I don't smoke marijuana. Oh, you scared. I was trying to say, oh man, you just a coward. You don't have no fun. For long, you sitting there smoking marijuana. And you don't realize that was the devil. Next time you out there buying your own marijuana and you're introducing it to the next innocent kid in the next room, and what do you become? The devil's help. That's the day and time we're in. That's why we had to strive to get past the year 2000. I'm going to shut up for a quick second. I want you to hear something. Right? Listen. Hear that? What do you hear? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It ain't nothing about you and me. It's about that. You don't realize that. It's all based on you and me. That's where you make the mistake. sake. Because that's worth dying for. You understand? I don't want any more of my children shot to death just because somebody is angry at someone else. You follow that? I don't want it. We have to prepare places for them. That's why they didn't want us to set up there. They go, why do you need 476 acres? How you gonna ask me why I need 476 acres? You know, how you gonna ask me what my needs? I only need 476 acres because I plan to build houses and schools and hospitals. I plan to have a place that's safe for us because you can't control what's going on out there. There's now out there. There's now what's going out there. When you get into your house, right, there's what's called out there. When you step out there, anything can happen. From a hijacking to a drive-by, and now you're telling me, send my kid out there. And I said, fine. Are you going to protect my kid? Well, I can't guarantee it. You doggone right you can. I'm watching television and watching kids stand up because of stuff you're teaching them and spraying kids in school, and then you just have to call the parent on the phone and tell them, sorry, but your 5-year-old son just got shot. Because some kid went crazy because he watched some video game. And I'm supposed to say, okay, I understand, that's the system, that's the system. I understand. That's what I'm supposed to say. Is that how you really feel? No. You know what? It hasn't knocked on your door yet, so you don't care yet. Anybody has a relative with cancer? Once you love that person, once you found out they had cancer, then you started studying what cancer was. You started learning cancer. Before that, it didn't knock on your door. So you heard about it, it just wasn't as important. You know what I'm saying? Anybody had their car jacked? Well, y'all must be carjackers then. I'm trying to say, we are always waiting until it knocks on our door, and then we start studying. I'm saying we better start preparing now for what's going on. And that's why they say, nah, we don't need this. We don't want y'all to have your own thing. You can't think for yourself. You're caught. You're going to commit suicide. You idiot. Every month they got something new on the internet about us. And they ran, we were criminals, we was a RICO, we were everything. And we stood here and we stood against them day in and day out and fought them in court and used the system until now they're back, now they're fighting each other. Ain't that right? They're not finished. Because they see the plan. Because while you sit there, there's people driving by now from that town that hates us a whole lot of us. They know if all you people move to that town, we can vote anybody in the office we want. They know that. Yeah, but no, they can keep each one of us in our own individual world, never moving as a block. So we're non-effective. How are we going to have a place where we can prepare for the secrecy of Christ's birth if we don't have a secret chamber meeting? We can't keep our big mouths shut. You understand what I'm saying? Do you have a thing with that? I just want to leave you with that thought. I'm going to start. If Christ is coming, somebody better be prepared to protect them against that dragon in Revelation, but it doesn't say he's protected there. Now that dragon is waiting for the woman to give birth to devour the child. That's what it says. Go back and read it. Go to Psalms 2. Go to Ephesians, principalities in high places. It's people plotting. They're government officials, not just government officials, but hobos on the street. They're brotherhood. They're all tied in. That sounds paranoid like heck, doesn't it? I said, you walk out there, I see a hobo. Oh, that lady got black fingernails. You can go out your doggone mind. Actually, it's not going to be taken to that extreme. It's to arouse a certain amount of consciousness in you. That everybody that looks like they may be John could be Judas. Because Judas and John were all hanging out with Jesus at the same time. One way, one the other. How many people have been betrayed by a best friend or lover? There's a whole lot of it going on in this world now. Is that real? Yeah. I ain't gonna hold it with that show. All right.
نشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الوالي الكريم وصلى الله على أنبياء أجمعين والمسيح والمهدي والمجدد لمن مرسلين. Are we not the bearers of witness that nothing would exist if Allah didn't create it? And that He is alone and has no partners? And that all gratitude is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sustainer of all the boundless universes. All gratitude is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the generous eternal friend. And send salutations of Allah on all of His prophets and His apostles, and on the Messiah, the anointed one, and on the Mahdi, the guide, and on the Mujaddid, the reformer, which was all sent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We send greetings and we send peace throughout the boundless universe to all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
You are now listening to The True Light with As-Sayyid Al-Imam Isa Al-Hadi Al-Mahdi.
Would you break down chapter 2, verse 7 of the Holy Quran and how it relates to people who hear the truth, but then they always want to argue with you?
Okay, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَافِرُوا Again, surely those who are kafir, they maliciously attempt to cover the truth. It's sawa'un, it's equal, it equivalents to alayhim, on them. It says andartahum. The word nazar means to warn somebody. It calculates whether you warn them am lam tundirhum, or you warn them not. La yu'minun. They're not going to be faithful. So what does it translate to mean? Surely those who try to cover the truth, it comes out the same whether you try to warn them or if you don't warn them. They're still not going to become faithful. Now, you can talk yourself purple in the face trying to convert some of these people who think they understand Islam. You're wasting your time because they think they got it figured out. Because they bypassed the Quran and went to Hadith. But they bypassed the book called Revelations and they went into the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which are Jesus' Hadith. They bypassed the Torah and they went into the Talmud, which is the Hadiths of the Torah. And now the Jews live by the Talmud, the Christians live by the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the Muslims are living by Bukhari, Muslim, Shafi, Hanbal, and Hadith people. And all of them have gotten away from the text of Allah. The book of Jesus was the book of Revelation. How do you know? Read it. Anybody got a Bible? Open it to Revelation. It says this is the number one part of Revelation. This is the revelation of Jesus the Messiah, which the Lord gave unto Him to show unto His people what must shortly come to pass. That's exactly what it says. You won't find that in the book of Matthew. You won't find that in the book of Mark. You won't find that in the book of John. You won't find that in the book of Luke, Timothy, or any other books. But right in the book of Revelation, Revelation is chapter 1. This is the revelations of Jesus Christ, which the Lord gave unto Him to show unto His people what must shortly come to pass. Is that what it says in the Bible? In the book of Revelation? So what book is Jesus' book? The Revelation. It told you. Not Mark, not Matthew, not Luke, not John. Those are His hadiths. And because of those hadiths is why we have so many different denominations. From John the Baptist, we got the Baptist. Got the Pentecostals from the point of the Pentecost. 7-day Adventists for the 7-day advancement of the angels. Jehovah Witness for Jehovah, it shall be my witness. People took these books, was not the book of Revelation, you see, and derived the names of their congregations from them. Now, instead of going to the book to get their name, here we go. Masjid Taqwa, Master Fair, Master Jamia, Community Mosque, Masjid Iqwa, the Brothers Mosque, Yasin Mosque. The Yasin is a symbolic meaning of Allah. None of these are in the Quran. Nowhere in the Quran does it tell you to call yourself Masjid Iqwa. But in the Quran it does say, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kunu ansarullah. Oh, you who believe, be ansarullah. Kunu is an order tense for a group of people. Kunu ansarullah. Be aiders in Allah's way. Oh, you who are of the faithful. Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kunu ansarullah. It tells you what to be, right there in the Quran. It doesn't tell you to be Mashi Ikhwa, Mashi Mu'minun. It doesn't tell you that. There's some men put together. We're not Ansarullah community because we like the way it sounds. We're Ansarullah because we found our name there in Allah's words. وَتَصِمُوا بِالْحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَامِعًا. So therefore we say جَامِعًا, جَامِعَ Ansarullah, جَامِعَةُ Ansarullah. وَتَصِمُوا بِالْحَبْلِ. وَتَصِمُوا, grab a hold of the habl Allah, of the rope of Allah. وَتَصِمُوا بِالْحَبْلِ اللَّهِ, as a jami'an, as a community. Communities do not come to the mosque only on Friday and then go about their many ways. Now what the Quran says, it says jami'an wa la tafarraqun. The word farraq is from the same word as nufarq, distinction or differences. Now, hold on, tuggle on the rope of Allah as a community, it says, and don't be divided. You walk into a mosque and everybody's dressed different. Prophet Muhammad wore misk and what? Rose or musk oil. You walk around, people, they got on sandal and they got on Nubian and Kush, and people smell like a bowl of fruit. You walk in the mosque. All different kind of clothes. Prophet Muhammad wore white and he wore black and he wore green. He did not wear blue. Muslims don't wear blue. I don't know why these Muslims in this country persist on wearing blue. You won't find in any books in any Islamic country where blue is worn. They don't wear it. It's a symbol of the tribes of Judah, of the house of Israel. It's one of their colors, the coat of arms. They don't wear the color blue. Though we were called the blue people. But people will put it on. Sisters persist on calling a wall a veil. Hijab is a wall, not a veil. Hijab is a wall that they live behind, the Arab women. And if you go to Saudi now and you see one of those walls made up of these little fine prints where they look out because you don't see the real women, because they have servants that go shopping for them, that place is called hijab. You understand what I'm saying? The word khimar, from khayma, the word khayma means tent. Khimar means to cover. Khumra, which they translate in the Quran in English as wine, has nothing to do with the word wine at all. It has to do with blocking the intellect. Anything that blocks the intellect is haram. I'm talking about all of those teas, all of those coffees, and all of those cigarettes. All of these are khumra, not just wine. The word wine in Arabic is nabid. Khumra, intoxicant. Something that intoxicates, that blocks and clouds the vision. That includes cigarette smoking. There's a lot of things that we got to probe into when we set up a nation. When we set up a people, we're going to raise the children. A lot of things. We got to have examples for them. We have to have laws. We have to know. We can't be dependent on a bunch of books from Lahore, Pakistan, by a bunch of people whose tongue is not even Arabic. If anything, you better train your children in Arabic and let them translate for you. You follow? It'll be a lot better for you to pay for an Arab to come here to train your child than for you to go over there and spend 5 years away from your child trying to learn it. Isn't it simpler just to raise the money and bring them here and let them teach your children? That's simple. Take them out the city, buy a farm, buy some land, learn to defend yourself. Get ready, because jihad is coming. Don't you see what's happening in the Middle East? So what's going to happen when Hajj comes around and Mecca is controlled? This is in the making. This is the jihad. The Antichrist, I know y'all know, is already here. You can see the works of the Antichrist everywhere you look. They tell you when the signs of the Antichrist would be right in Matthew 24. Wars and rumors of wars. Nation against nation and kingdom against kingdom. Pestilence. Earthquakes in all types of places. This is what Matthew 24 tells you. Are we not in the time of wars and rumors of wars? Isn't kingdoms against kingdoms and nations against nations? Isn't that not the time we're in? Yes. The book of Revelation is manifesting itself right now. It's sad that the Muslim world don't read it, because if they did, they'd find themselves in it. and see themselves as the kings of the east, of which the Antichrist is going to rise right out of them. It's right in the Quran that the Bible out of the beast of the earth. It's going to come up and rise right in the midst of Mecca. Well, you look at the word Dabab, and out of it you get the word tank. A tank. It's already there. The word Ard means earth, planet earth, or ground. Dabab and Ard means tanks on the ground. That's different than in the books of Revelation about the judgment day. When they speak in the judgment day, let me show you what it says about the angel coming down. Revelation 9, and the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit, and he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of this pit. Let me understand first. He saw a star fall, and when the star hit the ground, it passed in like a pit, and up and out of that pit gushed forth smoke. He saw a light shoot, and he saw it fall and hit the earth and go down, and then it gushed forth into smoke and fire. This look familiar? Does that look familiar? That looks like an atomic explosion he's describing. Remember, this is John. They didn't have atomic weapons then, so he had to use what he knew. He said he saw it go down into the ground, into the bottomless pit. They call it, you know, the Bible said Hades. You know what Hades is? The center of the earth. That's all it means. It went down into the ground and gushed up smoke and fire and blocked out the sun. Radiation. A radiation storm. The sky becomes blackened. That's what he says. I saw a star fall from heaven upon the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. That means he opened the floor to go in. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there rose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air was darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts. Now this is very important. Upon the earth. And locusts do what? Huh? Fly. He saw locusts on the earth go up. Watch what happens. And unto them was given the power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. What do scorpions do? They sting. They kill. This locust has the power of a scorpion, Allah says. And it was commanded them. They were being commanded. You understand that? You understand locusts being commanded? Okay. That they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree. Do you know of any locusts that do not eat trees and grass? This is describing something that's going to become clear soon. But only those men which have not the seal of God, as they say, in their foreheads. And to them was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. That's a radiation fallout. And the torment was the torment of a scorpion when it strikes a man. You know what happens when a man gets struck by a scorpion? What? His body turns to heat. His face breaks out. He begins to dehydrate. His eyes can even bulge out of his head. You know what that is? The same thing that happens when radiation fallout. The body feels like it's on fire. The body begins to turn inside out. But they're going to tell you that these are not locusts pretty soon. And in those days shall man seek death and shall not find it. Why is man going to seek death then? Because after radiation fallout, the condition of the world and the condition of people who are disfigured from it, people are going to want to die and they're not going to be able to. People are going to seek death and can't find it. This is the same thing we Muslims know as zilzal in the Quran, the earthquake. Same time, the shaking. Watch. And the shapes of the locusts, now here they go. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared for battle. A formation. You understand? And on their heads were as it were crowns of gold. He saw the sun reflecting off of something, a plane. And their faces were the faces of men. You saw the tiger fighters that they used to bomb, the planes where they draw faces, the mouths of lions on them. They have those again. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth is the description of the drawing. Whereas the teeth of lions, he's describing a plane, a fighter plane. This is what John saw 2,000 years ago. There was no planes, so he described them as locusts, flying in formation and shooting off something that stung the earth. But this happened after a great one fell and made an atomic explosion, which means there's going to be a first bomb, which is not a regular bomb, it's a neutrogen bomb. Why? How do you know? Because it says it won't hurt nothing but men. It won't destroy the plants or anything but men. Neutron. Before the neutron bomb was even thought of, this man saw this vision. All right? They had breastplates, as were the breastplates of iron. Have you ever seen a locust with an iron plate? What did John see? John saw planes flying in formation. He saw a plane shoot a star upon the earth in a great explosion. And then he saw it moving across the earth and take light into the sky in formation by command of someone. And stinging the earth and stinging men. But the bombs they dropped did not destroy any of the plant life, only human beings who did not have the mark of the Almighty. You find it as a mark of the beast in the Bible also. But the mark of the Almighty is called Bism in Arabic. The mark that a Muslim gets from prostration, that don't mean go burn your head. It's not the mark by burn your head, it's the fact that you rise for prayer. Yuqinu salah. That's what it's talking about. Because Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 9, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Now, name a group of people that call themselves peacemakers. Christians call themselves the peacemakers. It says, Jesus said, because they believe in Jesus, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God, which we know they mean Allah Ta'ala. You say the word Muslim, you know what you're saying? Muslim, one who's of peace, not one who submits. Musallam, the shadda ala lam, is the one who submits. That could be used if I get you in a headlock. I can say, tasallam, you surrender. The word Muslim with lam alif means one who's of peace. Al-Islam means a peaceful state. Jesus then told his followers that Muslim was going to come right out of his own followers. How many of y'all were Christians in some form or fashion? And now you're Muslim. Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. He was talking about the coming of Islam. He spoke about the comforter, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as Ahmed, praised, illustrious. And unto him shall be the gathering of the people. For he shall not speak of himself, only that which he hears shall he speak, the book of St. John says. And he shall glorify my holy name. Did not Muhammad in the Holy Quran, by leave of Allah Ta'ala, glorify Jesus? He did. He said, I've raised certain prophets in certain ranks and put them above each other like Jesus.
Refer to the Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 253.
What it says. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was the comforter of the book of St. John's. Muslims are the peacemakers of the book of Matthews. Was Jesus a Muslim or a Christian? It says in the Bible, Jesus went into the garden and fell on his face and prayed. You tell me one denomination of Christians that fall on their face and pray. One. Tell me one. Tell me one denomination of Jews that fall on their face and pray. You can't. Can you? But they said Jesus went into the garden and fell on his face and prayed and said, "Oh, my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass by me." Jesus was a Muslim. Jesus said to his followers when he came into the upper room, he said, "Salam lakum." He didn't say, "Assalamu alaikum." He said, "Salam lakum." Peace be to you. He told his followers that he'd have other followers later. When did he say that? He said the 144,000. He described them and everything. He said they will climb Mount Zion. You know what the word Zion is? Zion is a translation from the word Jerusalem, from the word Urushalam. You know what the word Jerusalem means? It's like saying Dar Salam, place of peace, abode of peace. He told you who his fathers would be and where they would be. He told you who would lead them. He said the Ahmed, the Comforter, would come. Now, why do they call Muhammad the Holy Ghost? Because Christians will say, no, brother. In the Bible, they call the Comforter the Holy Spirit. Why? Because when Jibreel came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said to him, "Muhammad, iqra." He said, "Ya Jibreel, ma ana biqari, and I can't read." So when Jibreel put the words of Allah Ta'ala in the afidah, not the qab, there's a difference. There's afidah for heart in the Quran, and there's qab. In the afidah of Rasulullah, he put the words in his inner heart. There, the spirit of truth resided. So Muhammad was the spirit of truth. What was his name? Muhammad Alameen. The faithful. You follow that? This is the Bible I'm talking. I'm using the Bible. I'm not even talking. I'm off the Quran. I'm talking the Bible here. And in the Bible, Islam is talked about. You could see. And they had breastplates, as were the breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was the sound of chariots, of many horses running for battle. What is that sound? The roar of engines. John didn't know what an engine was back 2,000 years ago. He had no idea what engines was of planes, like the Concours. He had no idea. He knew they had big wings, and from these wings of these metal things that looked like locusts, that acted like scorpions, hear this great sound. Now watch what he says. And they had tails like unto scorpions. They shot missiles. And there were stings in their tails. You know what a sting is? And their power was to hurt men 5 months. Radiation fallout. Check it out. 5 months. Check it out. And they had a king over them. Here's the part. Which is the angel of the bottomless pit. You know who that king is of the bottomless pit? Who they tell you was of the bottomless pit? Who would be cast into the bottomless pit for a short period of time and then let loose? Huh? They gave all of his names in Revelations. They said the Satan, the devil, Lucifer, that old devil. They took you from his activity from the garden all the way up to the present day. They talking about the angel of the bottomless pit. They talking about Iblis himself. He is their commander, because he works in the heart of the Messiah or Dajjal, the Antichrist or Messiah Dajjal, who's going to rise in the outer world, y'all. Don't be looking for him to come out of the Christian world, because he's not. Going to rise up amongst the Arabs, the Antichrist. And you'll know him. I'll tell you how. It says, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is abadan. But in the Greek tongue has the name Apollyon. You know what fact lies at that point right there? That this text here, the New Testament, could not have been in Greek nor Hebrew, like people say. How do you know? Because if it was in Greek and Hebrew, he would not have to translate the two words. He's translating it to Greek and Hebrew. So the text could not have been in Greek and Hebrew. And he's describing the beast of the bottomless pit. Woe, one woe is past, just one. And behold, there come two more woes, more hereafter. And the sixth angel sounded, I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before God. They speak of the four angels that held the four winds back when the world was getting ready to come to an end. And he said, woe, hold it back until they are sealed in their foreheads. The same mark. The devil is making his mark on people, and the Lord is putting his mark on people. The mark of the Lord is the righteous Muslim. As Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers. Not just a Muslim, because you're not a Muslim out of dress. And don't let no Muslim tell you anywhere in this Quran where it says Islam is in the heart of a person. Islam is your whole being. How do you know? Because he told Muhammad what? I just said it. He told Muhammad to read. Why didn't he just come and place the Quran in Muhammad's heart? Why did he seek a physical response from Rasulullah? Why did he command Rasulullah to bend and pray? A specific form of prayer. Why did he give him a specific direction in which to pray? Does not it say in the Quran that the east and the west belongs to Allah? There is no direction for Allah. So why are Muslims summoned to a direction? Why are Muslims ahdina sirat al-mustaqim, asked to be guided to the path of the taqwa? Those of Qiyam who are going to make it on Yawm al-Akhir. Why are they asked to do that? Why does it say in the hadith that a woman does not have to cover her face at Mecca? She does not have to cover her face in Mecca. What does that mean, sister? That means when not in Mecca, how should she be dressed? If it says in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, a woman does not have to cover her face while on Hajj, then when she's not on Hajj, what does she have to do? Cover her face. It describes the sunnah of Nabina Muhammad and how he dressed. It speaks about his taqiyah, speaks about his jalabiyah, it speaks about his imma, it speaks about his sandal and his oil even. How he clipped his nails so that it did not go past the fingers. How he clipped his beard so it did not go beyond the handspan. And when his beard turned white, how he put henna in it to tilt it back. How Aisha used to braid his hair every other night. How he ate. How he sat. How he laughed. How he pointed. How he talked. All of these things are mentioned in detail in the Sunnah. And he said to us, I left you with only two things. Right? Two things I left you with. The Quran and my Sunnah. And then he said, do the opposite of the mushrikeen. Who are the mushrikeen? Anyone who does not believe in Tawheed, wahdahu la sharika lahu, is mushrikeen. You know what? It's sad. There's a whole lot of Muslims that are mushrikeen. Because they've now got Allah up here, and they put Muhammad here, right next to each other. Huwa Allah alladhi la ilaha illa huwa. It doesn't always have to be La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Huwa Allah alladhi la ilaha illa huwa. Huwa wahdahu la sharika lahu. You don't compare Muhammad, our beloved prophet, to Allah in any way. You don't compare the hadith of the apostle to the Quran of Allah. What is wrong? Where'd you go wrong? He said, I left you two things, the Quran and my way. Which one was first? The Quran. The Quran tells a Muslim how to dress. Tells a woman how to walk. It tells a woman, don't walk enticingly. Don't walk heel-toed. It says, don't put your heel down and your toe, because it'll cause your adornments to move. Meaning the woman would switch. So when you see a Muslim woman sleep, say, sister, stop switching. She's supposed to know that. It tells a woman to cover her face over her bosom. He was talking to a man when he pointed to her sister's face. Salma came to him with a thin dress on. And Rasulullah said, take that off. That's the likeness of what should be a curtain in a mosque. And made her take off this thin dress they gave her. And when she came back, the man said to her, well, I said to Rasulullah, how should a woman dress? And he said, only that, that, and that. You don't find in the hadith any place where it says her face should be revealed. He pointed there, there, and there. He does not say anywhere a woman's face should be exposed. You understand? He said to protect her adornments, her beauty. What is the most beautiful part of a woman according to the hadith? The hadith says the most beautiful part of a woman is her face. You understand that? He's telling them what should be covered and what should not be covered according to the Quran. And if you do like I have done, I've been to Sharq al-Awsat. That means I've been to Saudi, I've been to Iraq, I've been to Syria, I've been to Turkish, I've been all over the Arab world and studied in 3 different countries. I studied in Medina, I studied in Egypt, and I studied in Sudan. And when I leave the city and I go into the bush or the desert of any country, any of them, you find a woman with her face covered. In the bush, not in the city where they've been influenced by modern scholars, everybody trying to become Christians. But you go into the bush of Morocco, you see women with their face covered. Now here's the point. I've heard Muslims say that is tradition and that is custom. Right? But here you are in Saudi here, and a woman got a veil on. And way over there in Morocco, and a woman got a veil on. And way over there in Algeria, and a woman got a veil on the Sahara. You understand? And the men dress differently. If it was a custom of the country, wouldn't the men and the women be dressed the same? When you go to Sudan, you see the men wear a certain type of jalabiya and we wear a very sloppy imma, as you would call it. All sloppy. The women wear thobe, wrapped around. You go to Morocco, the woman wears a jalaba, has a split up side here, has a little hood on the back. The men wear a thing called a jubba, which is a jalabiya, which is very similar to this one here, with a silham, which is like a cape with a hood they put on their head. All these men have come out with these fine little minute differences in their dress. But all the women wear the veil. Now let's look at it. Is the native language of Pakistan Arabic? No. Is the native language of Saudi Arabia Arabic? Yes. Is the native language of Morocco Arabic? Yes. Is the native language of Algeria Arabic? Yes. Is the native language of Libya Arabic? Yes. Why is it that Pakistanis can tell you all in their hard Pakistan books that you don't have to wear a face veil? And you can look into the Arab magazines and see women with face veils in Arabic-speaking countries. Where did they get the idea? Tell me, anybody. Where did the veil? Don't tell me the Turkish, because the Turkish didn't have nothing 200 years ago. Where did they get the idea to cover their face from? Tell me where the idea came from. And how it ended up on 4 different continents. They must have got it from something that they all have in common. And what is that? The Quran. Because the Moroccans in Maghribi, they have their own customs and traditions. You understand that? The women, the marriage, the divorce, everything is different. No, none of them follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah. They have their own customs and traditions of everything. But then when it comes to dress, all these women found their way to the veil until modernization and modern scholars even, modern Islamic scholars pop up on the scene. Don't let nobody tell you that that's because Islam is in your heart. Islam is not in your heart. Islam is in your ruh, in your soul. Islam is in your nafs. Islam is in your spirit, in your essence, not merely in your heart. You have 3 words for love in Arabic. This is what happens, why it's so important. You have hib, wood, and ishq. 3 different words for love. When you express compassion, it's wood, from the word Dawood or El-Wadud. When you like something or like the way it was done or like how it's done, it's hib. When it's a total control over the whole being, it's ishq. Which one of these 3 do you have in your heart? You understand what I'm trying to say? They're lying to us.